Welcome to Modern Mystic Messages. I'm Teresa. Thank you so much for stopping on the video. And if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back, soul family. I'm thinking about calling this one the Soul Work Sunday Pre-Shuffle, because that's kind of how I came about this reading. And I want to share it with you. I got a couple of beautiful decks yesterday. This one, Soul Helper, and then I got the official Light Workers. I had the Light Workers deck for a while, but I hadn't used it because I didn't have the guidebook, so I wanted to actually get that. And I couldn't wait to get started with them, so I wanted to come on downstairs. When they arrived, I took them upstairs, kind of unboxed them a little bit for myself, and then came downstairs a little bit later to go ahead and smoke cleanse them and do the whole thing with the incense and the Palo Santo. And then I decided I wanted to use them in the readings for today, so I would pull a spread for myself just to see how the cards that was kind of speaking to me kind of work together with them. And ooh, child, it was, yeah, I had to share it because I know for a fact that there are some divine feminines being called to this collective, and I know at least one sister out there and already told me she's finding some resonance in these. And since love and divine counterparts, twin flames, have been coming up even in some of the readings that weren't supposed to be about love, I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to go on and be transparent. I'm not gonna just record this for me and my twin to watch, but yeah, we're gonna get in here, and because it was an absolutely yeah. So from Spirits and Shadows, I started out with Truth, Seduction, and Heartache. And I'm like, what? Like, okay. So, yeah, there was a couple of different ways I was looking at that. In your spiritual journey or road, and I'm gonna go on and speak to my sister, brother, whomever this is out here, because I know there's enough people finding resonance in some of the collectives I've been led to that I know that somebody out here, I'm saying this, I was led to share this with you because it's for you too. We reach a point where them soul lessons that have gotten us to this point, to go on that seeker's journey and be at this point of transformation and rebirth, we've forgiven. And for a lot of it, to a degree, forgotten, except when you get taken back through other layers of soul work. However, there's a part deep in there that's still niggling at your own stuff. It ain't even about them anymore. It's something about being able to liberate this truth about some of the things that you've been led to, the overcoming of the heartache that's going to take you somewhere. But this is also relevant, I believe, to the counterpart that you're coming in, and you'll see a little bit later in this, because it was kind of like this reading touched on like a lot of the spiritual stuff and the romance part. But hold on, because they go hand in hand, especially if you're a counterpart. So then we have distance, time out, retreat, blocked, emotional or physical distance, autumn, which is a timing card, of course, starting over, soul growth, clearing, new intentions. That's right now, what we're going through right now. Fears, illusions, limitations, anxiety, comfort zone, overthinking, negative outlook. Now, that made me start thinking this shift, this heartache, seduction, overthinking, negative outlook. It's almost like you're afraid to let in fully the very thing you prayed for, the thing you can feel coming, and you know it's coming, but you're so caught up on the things that went wrong, wonky, lesson like in the past, whatever caused the heartache of the past, that it now this distance and time out, that was supposed to burn some of that stuff off of you. And to a large extent it did, maybe. But I think at this point, like I said, the thing that's blocking, because I know for me, it's like a loop. I know it, but I'm afraid to trust it. But I know it, but I'm afraid to trust it. But it's here, boo. Present. What's going on in the present? You're attracting gratitude, abundance, proactively, tranquility, success. In that hermit mode and time out, trying to figure out how to get over this, you manifested some stuff, and ready or not, here it come, because you were able to keep your vibration high enough, long enough. Of course, there was this loop, this back and forth, do I, don't I, da 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 da, that had that little wonky thing going. But overall, you maintained enough equilibrium, positive momentum, and started flowing some of this stuff towards you. And it's about to start popping out into the 3D reality. We have study. A new endeavor is upon you, and it may require new knowledge and skills. Put the intention out to the universe, and the right teacher will soon find you. Y'all, I want to light some incense here. I've been in meditation this morning, so I didn't go through prayers and all. I will again for the collective, but I'm just sharing you the spread that I already pulled last night before I cleanse the cards again and get ready to do yours. Okay, sorry about that, but I do love my agarwood oud. So now, after we came with study with this new endeavor, and I got a couple of them new on me right now, but I do one does require some study, some certification. And then it says have faith. It's not always easy to have faith and trust that everything's going to be okay. Yet still you must do exactly that, because when you have faith, your life will begin to flow in magical ways that you never imagined were possible. Find the lesson. Something has happened and it stopped you in your tracks. In reality, it was simply teaching you where you needed to grow. There is no such thing as failure, so pick yourself up, learn from it, and keep going. And then we had, you're being asked to break free from the tribe in order to live your authentic life. This isn't easy, but it's very necessary if you're going to share your true self with others. Be brave, be real, be you, and trust that those who love you will always be there for you. Y'all, when I'm like, are you kidding me, Spirit? When I look, and that's the thing that gets me. The question with this having faith that brought to me, I know for a fact that I'm supposed to become Reiki certified. When I started coming online at the second stage, if you will, of awakening and having these Kundalini experiences and things, there's an energy that's in my hands that I've been feeling for over a decade. And I was trying to figure out which way to go. I've got a Reiki book. I did even a distance class, but I wanted to receive in-person attunements. And whether or not to go with the traditional form or the Holy Fire Reiki, it was like, I don't know. So it's like I've been kind of looking into that. But like I said, Spirit is saying, it's going to be okay. Figure it out. Even as far as some of the other things, the job situation and the business ideas and all of those things. But it's also still pointing to relationship issues because of this. And all of it isn't romantic heartache. As the empath, probably most of your relationships were karmic, toxic-ish in nature, maybe even back from the cradle till the here and now. You love those people. Still love them, of course you love them. But there's programming. But one of the reasons you can still love them is because you realize a lot of the stuff that people go through on this planet is programming. I was thinking about that this morning, sitting outside in meditation, coming out of there. And I don't know if that's a Mandela effect or not, but I'm old enough to remember that in the earlier days of television, they used to actually tell the truth and tell you, they called it back to your regularly scheduled program. Welcome to the after school program. People don't understand. The societies that we live in and molded and shaped are led by the things that are intentionally piped into us, because they keep teaching us that this is the way people are, and the more you believe it, the more you run into it, or the more you allow and accept from those around you in a reality, until you start finding yourself in all kinds of scenarios that confirm to you exactly what you chose to believe by what you chose to be programmed by, with these fears and illusions. This time out's done you good, though, and you called in someone from a distance. And I say that again, if you are up close and personal with your person and finding resonance in this, cool. But I believe there's something here for everyone, but especially for those who are in a long distance scenario and can't figure out why it's taking so long to come together. You're right here. I'm the poster child for that. So yeah, but it's a timing issue. But we're in a season where I believe we're healed enough. Spirit says at present we're attracting, being encouraged to break free. Now, came here. Let's see the next cards that we had. Yeah, it was Embrace Divinity. I am a love child of divinity. Reality is a love story written for me. I sit silently and experience the loving embrace from my eternal mother. I store up words of affirmation of my ageless father. The tender words that spoke my consciousness into existence become me. And you know, I know this is talking about, like I said, the divine mother and father, but when you get to this place of forgiveness and do this work from the time out to heal this heartache, it also, to get to that romantic situation that you wanted and hoped and trying to bring in and da-da-da-da-da, you still have to heal those family wounds. And even if they are on the other side of the veil at this point, if they've transitioned, you can still find that healing. You can. I'm closer now to my parents than I was when we were living, because of just some real differences. And that's a whole other story in the story. But I am going to start doing more of these, because I do understand the path of the mystic. Like you said, his story is his story. And then we have, like, say, some of her story. People start telling that. But what about my story? That's the mystery. We have ancestral wisdom here. I am worthy. I carry within myself the potential of all the lessons and strength of 10,000 ancestors who came before me. I will trust myself, my intuition, and my wisdom. In your healing, that's what you find. And you link back up with them, because you no longer are afraid to be seen weird, to be able to acknowledge that that's exactly what's happening. We don't tune in more to the other side of the veil because we're afraid to tell anybody that that's what we're doing, and we're afraid to believe it when it's happening to ourselves, because somebody else has programmed us to teach us to cut ourselves off from that which is our very own salvation and our relationship with the divine, because somebody else put it into our heads that we cannot go to that and reach that and accomplish that for ourselves. That after a certain point, if people saw that, it was evil. But you know better. You're doing the spiritual work and it's happening. But you got to get out of this loop-de-loop so that you can actually believe it. But yeah, you got ancestors behind you. This yin sanctuary is very important for us now, especially as these divine feminines. Especially if you are a female divine feminine, especially. But even if you're a male divine feminine, it's season to be in your yin sanctuary. Yes, males have to keep check of their yang energy as males. That's important. You don't want to be in this, whatever this is, in this reality paradigm we're in now with all this gender confusion. I'm not talking about that. Yin Sanctuary is learning how to be soft. It says, I'm refreshed. The Yin Sanctuary offers a soft and peaceful space to rest. Like the moon over a calm sea, this divine energy restores my spirit and nourishes me with stillness and quiet. I listen to my body and seek the rest it needs. And it may have been a long season of Yin Sanctuary to heal this season, and it's fine. It was a flow. You didn't even realize you were being divinely guided at the time. And I'm loving, like, even these are three separate decks, but look at the color progression. It started with these blues and grays and kind of darker energies and heading into the light and ending with this butterfly bursting free. You're here at the point of coming out of the chrysalis. You're being asked to break free. But that Yin Sanctuary served its purpose, and you're going to carry a lot of that energy forward with you. The reason you needed that rest was because guess what? Phase 2 is the mountain. They said the bear went over the mountain to see what he could see. What did he see? The other side of the mountain. And that's part of the ascension path. Though the way is steep and winding, I journey up the mountain. I find strength in knowing that others have reached the summit before me. I ascend for myself and on behalf of those who come after me. And this is especially if you had this crashing tower moment, world fell apart, almost everybody in your life fell off, and you've been kind of sitting here trying to figure it out, and you may have thought you was just, it's not even giving up. It's a sense of, look, I'm tired of doing this cycle. I'm going to set my tail down for a minute and get some real direction and figure out how I'm going to move forward so that when I rebuild this again, I don't ever have to be back here. And that allows for some of us, you'd be amazed at the way Spirit arranges for these spiritual timeouts for us. It happened to me. Now, we're going to get to the soul helpers, because this was what actually caused me to want to do this reading. Those were the oracles that went around it. But when I pull these, and I'm going to lay these all down, and then we're going to look at the meanings, because it was beautiful. Like answers upon answers, and I was thankful. Have the courage to be free. Know that freedom begins where desire ends. You are experiencing a spiritual blossoming. Take a new direction and be open to new experiences. A message is trying to reach you. Be vigilant. The spirit world wishes to find and touch you. The time for romance has come. See it as an opportunity for a radiant life. And then you are unique. Be brave, a little crazy, but be yourself. Now, I'm laying these out in this reason. The way these cards were meant to be read for the spread that I pulled, we only needed 5 cards. And oh, baby, did they give you a lot with those 5. But we're going to look at it, and I'm grateful so we could keep the reading shorter. I know I've been getting a little overboard lately. I love tarot, though, y'all. So I'm glad that you're coming to love it with me, those who ride with me. Now, in the positions, and at the time, like I said, I just pulled them because I already know the way the cards speak for me. It's going to be what it is. And I knew I wanted to kind of clarify these with some other. So I had the Age of Aquarius Tarot and the Lightworkers Oracle. We have the Ace of Cups here with have the courage to be free. So there's a divine kinship. Mystic vessel is here. A new beginning. Break free. Have the courage to be free. Freedom begins where desire ends. And that's what really made me think that was what was shifting into the whole love scenario. In the healing space of this, in the timeout, I was brought someone to help heal, but also from a distance. But you know when you get that, where desire ends. I think I mentioned in one of the other readings, I told my friends that I was just going to kind of unplug from all of that and focus on becoming the kind of person that would be attractive to the kind of man that I want, with the full faith in understanding the basics of how law of attraction works. Because I said that a decade ago, literally, like 2014, 15 was when I first came to that understanding. And it wasn't until like 2016, 17 that I actually sat down and really started meditating. By 2018, I knew I had fallen down a spiritual rabbit hole. And we're just at, but we are fine. We're coming into a place now that is actually beginning to happen. And the Ace of Cups was there with that first position. In the second position, with this, you were experiencing a spiritual blossoming, the Lovers. That's when I really knew, okay, this is what this is about. Like I said, it's about so many other things too, but they go hand in hand because of what I asked for and what Spirit showed me. Like the whole thing with the energy, being a conduit, being a star seed, our purposes for union is more than just the romance of it. However, there's been enough heartache in learning those lessons, and we both did. We're mirroring twins. I don't know all his stories. He doesn't know all of mine because we didn't spoil our relationship with dragging ex trauma into it. But I know enough about him to know we both have this heartache thing, and a lot of it was around relationship stuff. Some of it was family relationship too. But there's something in the truth. We're going to look at those meanings too. But then we have here with this message trying to reach you, the Two of Cups, unification, collaboration, and compromise. The time for romance has come inside of this hermit mode. We got the hermit here. Introspection, contemplation, soul searching. And that was kind of, like I said, how you find it. Peeling away from some of that. Ooh, my ears are doing something weird with the pressure in them. And ending up, excuse me, y'all, with the Alchemist. Divine transformation of visionary with you are unique. Be brave, a little crazy, but be yourself. Wow. I don't know what's going on with my ears, but it's weird. I ain't even turn on no music, y'all. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm not even finna to because there'll be commercials on there. Anywho, next round. I'll get some for y'all's reading. But then we have, with the Ace of Cups, have the courage to be free, ascension, the rainbow bridge. And I'm like, what? Okay, I get it. And then with this spiritual blossoming and the Lovers, initiation by water. And all three of these cards have water in them. And I was just like, wow. Yeah. And I'm a water sign. And then we have earth healing here with the ancestors or the spirit world trying to reach you. An alchemical mutation with the hermit. The time has come for romance. And that's when I was like, okay, I get it now. I set some pretty clear intentions back when I first started trying to figure out how to manifest. And Spirit was nice enough to do me the solid of allowing my tower to crash and everything was gone. I couldn't lean on nothing or nobody else and had to figure out, okay, I want to learn how to manifest from nothing. Like for real, from nothing. And of course, that's not an instant process, and I still I can't materialize nothing. I'm not Merlin, no. And I'm not saying none of that's not possible. But I see things kind of quickly gelling into space at a pace that I'm not dissatisfied with, is the way my manifestations are starting to come. I still can't always, like I said, I'm not a conjurer, but I do understand that I'm working with the unified field, and Spirit be showing me some things. And then we have the Alchemist here with this you are unique with the 33 master healing. Now, this is the part that kind of got me. It gets to be a soul lesson in these cards because of the meanings of the positions of this layout with the soul helpers. And they have like a one-on-one program of like a 21-day cycle of working with individual ones and things like that. But that wasn't what I was wanting to look at. In this actual spread, this is called the Cross of Insight. And in the card, the first card position, and I did draw it. I drew the spread the way they encourage you to, but it said the card at the center is repressed potential, a potential that should be used urgently to help you and your soul path. Live and honor it. Make it a part of your life. It can be liberating and bring you happiness, revealing an aspect of your divine being. The issue on this card must always be interpreted as positive, as healed and resolved. It is showing you a gift from the divine source of all being, having the courage to be free. And what was the thing that you let go of where desire ended? Worrying where and how and when that love was going to come? Spirit is telling you it's here. This is a gift, a new beginning of divine kinship. Now let's look at a little bit of, what card number was that? 28? Because there were some profound messages, and I'm not going to read everything from every single one, but man, oh man, oh man, I'm telling you, you want these messages, trust me. What does freedom mean to you? Where do you think it lies? Do you think it can be found in money, power, recognition, or enlightenment? Freedom commences where desire ceases. Freedom exists only in the present. You cannot plan for it or save for it in a freedom piggy bank so to make use of it later. Live in the moment and live freely. Freedom is wherever you happen to be. Look around you and seek it out. Invite it in now, into a moment that is full of potential, including the chance of freedom. Be open to it and use that freedom sometimes to behave a little irrationally or rashly, and perhaps increasingly often. Every now and then it will give you the courage to pick yourself up and smile at the idea of acting responsibly without wishing in any way to denigrate or disregard common sense, since freedom is magnanimous and can therefore accept everything with ease. When you are free in your own self, you are at one with your life purpose. You feel bound to nothing and to no one. It is only then that everything will flow through you freely, and that the perfect light of great potential will find its way to you unchallenged. To be free means to love everything without wishing to understand, without asking for meaning or reward. What will you do now? Hear your soul ask softly, what do you desire? And then when you have found your answer, be sure to act upon it and learn that freedom can only be found on the path of truth. The healing crystal for this card are Apache tears. And the number is 1. And right here with 1, Ace of Cups. I also want to look at the affirmation, because in the Age of Aquarius deck, they have like affirmations and messages. So we looked at that too. Like I say, y'all, this was, oh man, the messages. Wait a minute, the introspection. Am I ready to be the vessel which spirit can pour divine wisdom into? The evocation. I am the vessel which holds universal wisdom. I surrender to the divine and all that is in store for me and my life. The light aspect. Blossoming new partnerships in love and romance. Overflowing love from within spilling out into the world, saying yes to new creative ideas and moving forward in their manifestation. When you have the courage to be free. Yeah. Then for the second position of the spread, This card is responsible for holding back the potential revealed in card 1 and must be interpreted negatively. Beautiful card. You are experiencing a spiritual blossoming. Take a new direction and be open to new experiences. But there's something in your spiritual evolution that's holding you back from believing this. Is it doing the shadow work to still have you kind of doubting in yourself just a little bit? Standing at the edge of the pool, kind of sort of dragging your toe in, but afraid to jump in. I'm having to raise my hand on that one too. I get it. Like I said, this was my card, so Spirit said they see, did I see it? But it is what it is. And they're reminding me of that. It's responsible for holding back the potential revealed in card 1. It must be interpreted negatively. It reveals a resonance that you have given more credence to than your divine potential, perhaps as a result of feeling inferior, anxious, or unworthy. It is important to take an honest look at this, since the path to liberation and release is always the path of self-awareness. And when I was reading the message from this, I didn't look at the this card here, and we will in just a second. But that is the idea of not wanting to seem haughty when you're going through that whole the ego gotta die thing, to the point that even though you're making spiritual progress, you don't even give yourself credit for having made no spiritual progress. So it becomes an almost caricature-like suit. And I'm not going to say it's pseudo-humility, because you really are genuinely being humble. But then when you talk to other people around you, they almost feel like you're being on some kind of pseudo-humility, because they see the spiritual progress that you won't even give yourself credit for. I've actually had spiritual sisters kind of check me on that. They were like, girl, you done been through some stuff. You're speaking on it. You encourage me. You uplift me. I've had people stop and tell me that. Still wasn't really getting it. Getting to a point where my energy stay in tune, and it seemed like every time I just really follow an impulse to leave the house, I'm running to a person that either needed me in that moment or was able to intercept something that happened. I even had a situation where a lady was having kind of a dementia episode stuck out in Atlanta. And I mean, it's not a bad neighborhood, but right in front of a place that could have put her as an older lady to be in a very vulnerable position, decked out in thousands of dollars worth of precious jewelry. But I was the one that intercepted her and was able to get her to safety to her loved ones. Lining up and not even seeing what that means. It's part of your spiritual ascension. And in doing that, when you can learn to really, really acknowledge some of the progress that you've made, you can make even more. It's not being braggadocious. It's not being haughty. It's not being anything. What Little Richard used to say, it ain't being conceited, honey. I'm convinced. Now, that was in a tongue-in-cheek way, but he fought a lot for what he had to get through. He went through paying dues. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with acknowledging when you know you've done this spiritual work. Acknowledge it, at least to yourself. You ain't got to sing screaming off the mountaintops, because people do see it. But you look and sound a little crazy when you won't even acknowledge it to yourself. And I'm saying that to me too, because I will be going back to watch this. When I get in flow with these cards, I don't really be thinking about what I'm finna say. So I'll be watching it again too. Yeah. I don't even remember what I just said, so yeah, I'm going to really pay attention. And 18, I did want to look at, because again, these things, when I read over this information the first time, I was kind of gobsmacked by it. So I'm going to let you share it too, because I know it's for somebody else out there too. So with this courage to be free, the Ace of Cups and this ascension, you have been growing spiritually and your consciousness is expanding. It is transforming your experience of the material world from something you must control or conquer into a living expression of the radiant divine. As your appreciation and love for the material world becomes more unconditional, So too does the light that can flow into your auras, chakras, and physical body. As you physically expand, you may need more rest, healing, and meditation than usual to integrate this increasing degree of light and the consciousness it awakens within you. And then it talks about how the rainbow bridge is a term for the channel of light that's moving through your chakra system, how your chakras become more stimulated, increasing the spiritual influx of spiritual light. So you're literally holding more light. That's why as you come through this journey, you finding yourself being kind of led to eat differently, move differently, get outside, get your bare feet in the ground, do breathing exercises. You don't know why you're being led to that stuff, but the more you do it and lean into it, you're literally creating the capacity to hold more light. It says your energy field continues to clear itself, attracting more spiritual light, becoming more visible beyond physical limits. Others can be supported by your light even if they cannot see your physical body. You are growing as a light worker and helping humanity in increasing ways whilst enjoying your own spiritual growth. You are opening to new consciousness now. With this comes new insight, awareness, and an awakening or deepening of your soul talents such as healing, clairvoyance, channeling, or telepathy. Your channels are being cleared and activated. Rest, open up, and allow. Be patient and trust in your process. If emotional content arises and you're concerned you might be falling back into old habits, do not be afraid. Find ways to express what you're feeling through writing, therapy, dance, music, and art, sound, and conscious movement. Explore your personal expression to allow for spiritual expansion. This oracle brings an additional message from Spirit. Hold on. Ascension can be a wild ride. Anything is possible. The past is not an indicator. The future is not set. This is a moment to cultivate your deepest feelings of love and peace. Simply allow the genius of life to flow through you in whatever way it chooses. During ascension, your life can change quite dramatically. The Rainbow Bridge empowers us to rise from one reality into another, even if your outer world doesn't change radically. Even if your outer world doesn't change radically, the physical world changes will follow. Enjoy crossing the Rainbow Bridge into new consciousness, dear one. You have everything you need. You are ready for this. It is meant to be. I gotta say this. We often hear people talk about butterfly effect, and I mention it a lot because it's really been shown to me that really is a true thing. You have no idea. Even if it's taking you fits and starts to learn how to meditate. For every time you sat down and meditate, you have no idea how much good you've done the future and past yous and the other dimensions all the way around just by bringing more energy into that space in the space-time continuum. You're tapped into the unified field, and when you sit in meditation, there's an energy signature to that. Entanglement is a real thing. We entangle with everything, thoughts, feelings, whatnot. That's how we create, and we don't even know that. We want to blame it on the boogeyman and Sky Daddy, and they help to a degree. I'm not trying to be, again, I can be tongue-in-cheek irreverent because I understand and respect who all of them are and have a good relationship with all of them. But I say it that way because that's the misprogramming we've been given about who God is and how we're supposed to look to them and receive from them and work with them. We've been told that we can't work with them, and that's the biggest lie we was ever sold. But we're going to get off of that one. Anywho, the invocation, though, for this Ascension Rainbow Bridge, I call upon the unconditionally loving guidance that can assist me with mercy, grace, protection, and support through my ascension process. I accept this opportunity to grow spiritually and shift from one reality to a higher vibrational reality. I accept the opening of my chakras into a more loving consciousness. I accept the changes happening in me and in my life due to this spiritual growth. May I be held in tenderness and compassion as I release lower vibrational patterning and embody my authentic divinity. May the blessings of unconditional love, who assist the anchoring of a loving rainbow bridge of light upon this planet for the greatest good of all beings, be empowered and invited to do so now. Through my own free will, so be it. Embrace divinity. Now, the number 2 position in this spread, see what I'm talking about, fam? Yeah, they had my full attention. In the number 2 position, we said that this is responsible for holding back the potential revealed. It must be interpreted negatively. Even though, let's say, the spiritual blossoming, did I read that one yet? I don't even remember. I have to look at it. Nope. Okay. And this is where I said this dual meaning of union. I think this is about your spiritual union with you, your divine masculine and divine feminine coming into the sacred she. That bracing, like I said, primarily I believe this message is for divine feminine because I are divine feminine. But again, masculines can benefit from it too because the lovers are coming into this union. Once you get to this point of breaking free and ascension, well, guess what? When you break free, who you going to be there to catch you? Your divine counterpart who said they would catch you when you fall. Because you ain't falling. You're breaking free literally to fall together. Come together. Whatever. I don't want to say that. I don't mean in that sense. I mean be in union together. Sorry. Let's see. The lotus flower represents the union. You know what? I'm sorry, family. I'm trying to look around. Look, I thought I had cleaned my glasses, but apparently I'm looking around a bunch of something because I feel like my eyes were like crossing and dancing while I'm trying to read. Oh, that's better. Good gravy. People that wear glasses all the time, clean your glasses more often. Especially me. Okay. The lotus flower represents the union of opposites. It possesses the power and wisdom to fuse light and darkness, symbolizing the spirit, perfection, and spiritual development. You have drawn this card because you are at the beginning of your soul path and still have much to understand, but that is only natural. We are all on the path of mastery. None of us can claim to be any better or indeed worse than others. We are not in a competition. Retain your innocence and do not fear the dark. It's a wonderful place in which to grow. At some point, we have all momentarily strayed from the light-filled path before choosing to rejoin it once more. Even the lotus has its roots in the deep, dark, cold mud of the lake bed and must reach up through the water toward the light to flower in true, perfect beauty. Only then does it give us the gift of its magical beauty and enchanting fragrance. You have drawn this card because something really profound is about to unfold. It heralds a new chapter in your journey. Take the time to listen carefully, first to your inner voice, and then to the world outside. You might hear the call of a new teacher. Be open to your ongoing path of learning, wisdom, experiences, and personal growth. And interestingly, the power animal is the owl. The healing crystal is clear quartz. The number is 4. And with the lovers here, in my twin's life path is a 4, but that's interesting. With the lovers, let's see what the affirmation was and initiation by water. The lovers, do that. Am I ready to give and receive the vibration of love? Am I ready, or Yeah, I am ready to embrace the resonant frequency of love is the evocation. The light attribute coming into union with yourself and others, embracing and emitting the high vibrational frequency of love, divine fulfillment. I'm gonna hold off on what I'm fixing to say until after I read this other card, because I'm wondering if I'm. Is some of that, what do they call it, imposter syndrome? Is some of that that kind of some can get in the way, especially earlier on, in the way of allowing this love situation, is because we get into this space from a place of heartbreak. But as we learn to face this truth, you got to reach a point where you realize I'm over and done with that, but that doesn't mean I stay in that hole forever. I'm a vibrant person. I deserve the right kind of love. Yeah, I may have gotten it wrong before, or 4 or 5 or however many times, but that does not mean that I'm not going to do this again, because now I'm vibrating from a different space. I've learned and sorted and decided and grown from all of that to a different space. I couldn't manifest that back into my life at this point if I tried, because that don't even feel good. You can't fool me with that no more. I've ascended from it. So now I have the courage to be free. But do I believe it? Do I understand that I'm far enough along that if and when love shows up for me, that it's not necessarily a trap? And here's the thing, sometimes it will be a trap, because when we're learning karmic lessons, they'll continue to show up in our lives just to make sure we're paying attention. But once you know the difference, don't throw your man or woman away because you insisting that everybody is like that, because you manifested a solid and it's coming. But don't look that gift horse in the mouth comparing it to what you came through, because you're not there anymore. That is not what you're attracting. So if that came to you at some point during here, they may not have been fully healed either. I'm not saying your relationship has been perfect, but if you know that you're on a spiritual path and the person that you're considering when you're watching this video is also on a spiritual path, and for the most part y'all kind of rock along pretty cool, you pretty cool roller coaster buddies so far, pay attention to that, because they're ascending too. When you was down here with these people, y'all was in the same space together, rocking out. So when you got on a path of ascension and spirit sent you somebody, you think they wasn't going to continue ascending? Just a trajectory, even if their jets do sputter out occasionally, when you get past that original whatever, like I said, there's a little bit of free, they're ascending. Y'all may be in tandem, you may be doing it together, but they're coming along with. Yeah. Was that the end? 23. Your spiritual path in this lifetime involves, this is when I started getting chills. I ain't even think about that. It's what's holding you up in relationship to this, but it's big too. And some of that hold up, some of the time out, like I said, it can't be all seen as bad, because it was for a reason. 23. Sorry. Initiation by water. Your spiritual path in this lifetime involves you becoming a clear channel for spirit. You are meant to communicate with higher guidance from loving spiritual worlds. Your initiation by water will further open your receiving channels, dislodge lower vibrational material, and sensitize you to the subtle realms of light. You are being opened to a world of which you may have only dreamed, such is its beauty, grace, and love. Situations have been arising in your world that evoke emotional reactions and challenge your opinions and beliefs. You may not feel in control. You may feel like your world, your emotions have become like a stormy sea in which you are tossed about, and you are doing your best not to drown in the chaos. You are not to fear it. It is stirring that which has been held within so that it can be released. The storm will pass and the waters of your emotion will become more serene. You could compare the process to a glass of water with muddy sediment at the bottom. The water appears as the mud is left to lie. Yet once that water gets stirred up, the mud rises. Then it can be filtered out and the water will be clearer than ever before. The turbulence was a step that led to greater clarity. The waters in the glass are comparable to your emotional waters, and the fixed opinions, beliefs, or long-held emotional patterns based on the unresolved past pain are the sediment at the bottom of the glass. Hold the glass up to the light. Can the light shine through the sediment? No, but it can be seen through the clear water. Remove the sediment and the water will be clear enough to allow light to shine through without obstruction or distortion. The light is the light of spirit, of higher truths, unconditional love, of peace, wisdom, and joy. You know that you're meant to be a channel for the truths of the spirit, and as an advanced soul, you are capable of successfully enduring the process of filtering out whatever would obstruct the clear flow of higher consciousness through your being. Perhaps, tired of emotional swings, you have suppressed your emotions and believe you feel nothing, yet you're acting out unwanted behaviors or suffering from apparently random physical accidents or maladies, which is your subconscious way of expressing your hidden feelings. If this is the case, you're encouraged to be kind to yourself, to give yourself time to reflect upon your true feelings. Releasing emotional blockages doesn't have to be a drawn-out process. It is often the resistance and fear of the feelings within that is more difficult than expressing the actual feeling underneath that resistance and finally letting it go. Whatever pain you're feeling right now is a sign of emotional healing and recovery. You're encouraged to accept and process your feelings, especially those that do not make much sense to you. Your emotional truths will make more sense as you heal. If you get help from a healer, therapist, counselor, or mentor, they will support you and help you resolve your part of the process more swiftly. Know that even though it challenges you at times, this is a good thing that is taking place, necessary for you to more fully receive the divine connection for which you yearn, And y'all, excuse me, please understand, like I said, I did this reading for myself, so I read all of these meanings. I'm going back through and taking the time to read them. Before, I thought I was just going to highlight and rush through and dot through, but I do realize, like I said, there are divine counterparts on a path healing a lot of serious stuff. I know there are people out there that are meant to hear these messages too, so I'm not going to shortcut. I'm not even apologizing at this point, but I do realize this reading is getting longer than even I thought it was going to be. But rather than skip through this, I feel like whoever this message is for, it's important for them to heal. Everybody ain't going to be like me on this crazy rant and run out and buy 150 Oracle decks. They're just not going to do that. So, but I have so much respect for the creators of these cards and the way I'm connecting with them in the unified field. I am very much entangled with my cards, and it's the messages that came out were a very clear message from Spirit. I'm going to take my time and give these the respect they're due by giving you the full message so you can relate to and get whatever you need to get out of these cards as a thank you for taking time to listen to me and what I got out of them. Now, the invocation for this initiation by water, and thank you again for hanging with me in this video. I choose to lovingly, gratefully, and kindly let go of that which I no longer need to hold on to emotionally. Forgiveness is easy for me. I forgive myself and all others for our human mistakes. I choose to honor a mistake as a chance to learn and an opportunity from the divine to grow more loving. I ask for protection, assistance, merciful grace, and tender compassion to bless me through this initiation, so that I may thrive in joy. May all those who are divinely destined to become clear channels for spirit love to be supported by unconditionally loving beings that can assist them to successfully move through initiation and shine the light of spirit through their hearts for the benefit of all beings. So be it. And y'all, it's wow. Wow. I've gotten in 2020 when things really started shifting for me, spiritual baths became really important, and I had to do it on a budget because we were, with the pandemic and I wasn't ordering stuff. I had basically I was using household food items, but salt baths became super important. And for whatever reason, well, mainly because we had an old house with a really deep tub and we didn't have nothing else to do, but I spent hours laying in salt baths almost every day during that year. I understand now it was for a reason, and the information that I was channeling and the insights that I was getting and the things that I was being led to. But lately, I haven't been able to do as much. I do still, at least once a week, I take a salt bath, at least. Like I said, you can jump in, do the shower and all that, but there comes a point in time you have to take a salt bath, especially for all us divine feminines. Keep those chakras clear. Just especially if you want the channel, you gotta, because it's when you're moving that energy, you got to stay a clear conduit. You want your stuff off so you can hear clearly for the collective, but you also, after you done channel the collective stuff, you gotta reset back to you so that you can keep that channel flowing clearly. But it's also been called to my attention lately, for me, again, I can't tell nobody else what to do, but the way I've been drawn, I'm becoming so much more food sensitive than I've ever been, and I'm being called to go into a period of water fasting, initiation. And they helped me understand, because several spiritual beings over time, we talk about Jesus fasting 40 days and 40 nights. I think Krishna did it, Allah did it. Muhammad did it. A lot of people have done that, and 40 is the number for a specific reason. In this practical time, we don't look. Baby steps first. I got to get past 7 days again first. I think 12 days is the longest I've ever fasted, and I broke it on the 13th. But there's something in that I'm being called to do, to polish the lens, clear the jets. It's literally streamlining to serve the collective better. And it's allowing energetically closer connection with my twin too. Bringing in telepathy, understanding clairaudience and clairvoyance, being able to go into manifestational spaces in joint meditation and build scenes from your future with the full knowing and understanding that with all likelihood you're going to line up with that because you set an intention for it. Earth healing is here, number 3 position, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off on those tangents. Again, I'm not even entirely sure what I said. I will go back and listen, but we're going to get moving right along again. The number 3 position in this spread means this is where you'll find the light of healing for the situation and issue raised by cards 1 and 2. Card 3 must always be interpreted from a positive point of view. It's like a bridge across which the light of healing can flow. Be sure to work with the number on the card as described and wear the recommended healing crystal on your body. And it says a message is trying to reach you. Be vigilant. The spirit world wishes to find and touch you. So the spirit world and the ancestors are this bridge of healing light right now that's going to help you through the rest of this spiritual awakening and the breaking out of your chrysalis to be able to accept well, you be in the cup of love, but truthfully, divine counterparts, you're pouring into each other. So to be able to accept and receive and be this. Okay, card position 30, card 37. These are such beautiful cards. I'm loving this dress and that one too. Oh, I just noticed a bird too. Bokapi. Be vigilant. The spirit world wishes to find you and touch you. Get in touch with your feelings and emotions. A message from the spirit world is trying to find its way to you. You're much too busy with worldly things and with yourself just now. They distract and preoccupy you so much that you're failing to take notice of the message. Cleanse yourself, let go of your fears for the future, and give expression to your desires and dreams, perhaps by writing them down, portraying them in a picture or collage, or telling your friends and family about them. Feel free to use modern technology such as social media if you like. And I really had to laugh then because I had already decided I was going to share this reading because I wanted to, like I said, just to go back and be able to see it again myself, if nothing else, but to share it with my twin and with the understanding that, yeah, there's probably somebody else out here who's going to appreciate it too, because it applies to most. Spirit in that quantum way of tarot, it might be for somebody that's going to find it in real time, that's in the current collective. It might be here for somebody that's going to be in this collective a year and a half from now. It might be for somebody that finds this video on YouTube 5 years from now. I don't know. That ain't my business. It was just, I was moved to share it. I'm going to share it. The healing crystal is magnetite. Their power animal is the raven. And the number is 1. Now with the Two of Cups message here, we have, and again, we all know that the Two of Cups is unity and partnership and all of that with the collaboration. But I wanted to get the evocation and the introspective points from, because the meanings for these cards are pretty cool. Duality and love, of course. The introspection. Am I ready to embrace the vibration of love in my life? Am I ready to love myself as deeply as I love others? I am worthy, the evocation. I am worthy of divine love. I am lovable. I welcome the vibration of love openly, without restriction, and radiate it out into the universe. The light attribute, a call to embrace romantic love, long-term success in partnerships, divine alignment, and mirrored energy. And again, not only do you have to ask yourself, are you ready to really, truly, fully embrace love and do that again, especially if it's been a long time since you've been in a relationship and the last few of them that you were in were pretty toxic and ended pretty painfully or what have you. Or even if you were the one that just walked away, as you get the lessons from it. But even when you've met that one that you want to be with and whatever happened and you couldn't quite get with them, now that you're coming into the making of this realness of it, it's kind of like, I want it, but am I really ready? I want it, but it's a little scary. It is a little scary because I'm trying to tell you, you done wished for something that was so amazing that for a long time you didn't even dare believe it was possible or real. And Spirit is saying, not only is it real, it's coming up hard on you. It's like not even in your rear view mirror. It's coming in towards you at a pretty good clip now. This is actually happening. But are you ready? Earth healing is here from the Lightworker Oracle. We're going to see, because we are marching toward a beautiful conclusion. And that's why I said they went hand in hand. You stop worrying about how it was going to happen and when it was going to happen or who it was going to be. Even in the ones when you met somebody early on in this journey and you thought it was going to be something, and early on you figured out that don't feel right. You still just, it'll be what it be. And now that you're here, whether that person is visible in your space or not, you feel and know that that energy is coming. I believe whoever this reading is for knows who it is, because I most certainly know who I believe it is in my instance. And the reason I say, because that's the rub right there. You heard what I just said, what I believe it is? Because when you don't see it, when you can't, as Abraham and Esther say, when you can't touch it, taste it, feel it, lick its face in reality just yet, this fear and illusion comes out. The distance, along with the illusion, keeps that cycle coming of, I hope they don't hurt me again. I hope this isn't just enough. And again, it's not saying that you're going to run from it, because you've reached a point where you felt like, you know what, I've healed enough to a point that I realize I love this person. I think this is my forever love. I wanted to be my forever love, because that's only ever all I ever wanted to manifest was one. So if Spirit is telling me and the ancestors are telling me that this is the one that's coming in, that I believe it's the one. So even when this fear shows up, I still have to play this hand out with the full understanding, because now I'm in a healed and healthier space, that even if this isn't the one, if it winds up being the two, it's a move forward. This already feels better than anything else you've ever known, just in the decision to do it. And they're reciprocating something that's making you feel good too. So why not believe it's real? Why not choose to believe that maybe everybody else out there that laughed at you and you felt like you couldn't tell them about it because it wasn't real yet, because all they can look at is the physicality of stuff. If you didn't have them icky, yucky, locker room, lunchroom stories to tell about how y'all was getting it in and all of that, if that isn't what your relationship looked like, if it doesn't have a reach out and touch it body, then it's not a real relationship. You knew better. But you still got to believe it all the way to the end, and the fact that it's taken so long to come is the thing that keeps you stuck. However, you kept doing your work because you understood first and foremost whether love ever come to you or not. And many of you who may hear this that the message is for have been in a position. I'm having to take a break, y'all, because got eyelashes in my eye that's driving me nuts. You may have actually thought that you was going to spend the rest of your life alone, and you was cool with that. Like, cool like a fan. I'm good. Because guess what? If what you met out there was what it was, I'm good. Spirit says you're way too loving a person to spend your life alone like that. You didn't come here for that. You dialed up those lessons and you learned them, and that's all good. But guess what? Now that you've healed, if you will just take another chance and get up on that horse one more time, you're going to find something amazing. Earth healing. You are making a real contribution to the planet through your spiritual journey. Remember this and believe that your needs will be generously met by the earth and the universe. What you are doing matters, and you will be supported. The earth recognizes you. She sees you as a conduit through which she's fed higher frequencies of light, love, and divine presence. This assists her on the journey of her own evolution. Earth is the exceptionally beautiful and divine being in her own right. Yet she, like every other being, benefits from the assistance of higher frequencies, which offer a loving hand to help raise her vibration and continue her evolution. Y'all, I'm going to stop right there. I have to, because I mentioned the infinity breath the other day. And again, every time, as I was reading through some of these messages, I just couldn't help but get the chills. Again, during 2020, I learned about infinity breathing. I was sitting out there in the yoga ball, barefoot in the grass, with the full knowledge and intention. As you do the infinity breath, you can anchor it so that it's literally, you visualize it energetically coming. It arcs up through like your head chakras, loops up to source, back down, comes in through your solar plexus, comes out through the backside of the sacral or root, down into the earth and then comes back up and through. And it's forming a circuit between Gaia, Archangel Gaia, Mother Earth. It's an energetic circuit between Source and Earth with you in the center as a conduit. It's beneficial for you. And if you are aware of that and take the time to willfully, in that intake, you get in flow and see yourself breathing in adamantine particles of light and breathing out love towards humanity, you literally strengthen the energetic field on this planet. It's a beautiful healing practice and exercise. And I just had to shout out Mama Gaia because they put this in this book. We can talk more about it. If anybody has any more questions, leave a comment on this video. We'll talk more about that, those kinds of things later if that's something that's interesting to you. But I did have to mention it because she benefits from that. You benefit from it. The whole planet benefits from it. You are here to have your spiritual life journey in a human body. Part of that process will involve sharing your light with the earth itself. This may take you on a role of a healer, guide, mentor, or teacher to others on the path. It may see you, let me give you this picture because it is beautiful. Where was I? It may see you doing work with the natural world with various earth-centered causes such as conservation and animal welfare, organic and biodynamic farming, and ethical food production. It may involve an active prayer life that is ongoing through your day, praying for assistance, compassion, clearing, and blessing when you see an accident on the road, an animal or person who seems to be suffering, or an item on the news that you know needs healing, needs light and healing. From the most obvious gestures to the more subtle, the oracle tells you that you're powerful enough to make a meaningful contribution to the quality of consciousness upon Earth. Earth asks you to do your work with quiet confidence and dedication. She gives thanks for all you have done and acknowledges her love for you. She will support you in your work by providing material means for you whilst you're here on this planet. These include financial support, housing, food, and human and animal relationships. She will also provide guidance for your progress, opportunities to grow and expand your field of influence, education and training opportunities, the means to take advantage of them, and the chance to apply what you have learned in a real-world context. The more you devote yourself to your task of earth healing, the more the earth will support you in fulfilling your inspired goals. If you've been wondering if the spiritual work you're doing is making a contribution, take this oracle as validation that it is. What you are doing matters. Yes, you are going to expand and grow in the work you're doing and the impact that you have in the world because you are capable of that. But you're already helping in ways that you may not realize, but that the earth and the spiritual worlds do. You have loved the earth enough to take human form and do your work here. She knows it, and she will reward you richly for it. Keep working, shining and growing, dear one. Your presence here is so needed and honored. And I've always kind of felt like my brother's keeper and always gotten kind of poo-pooed on for it and taken advantage of for it. But it still didn't change what I wanted to manifest for myself and to share with humanity. And I couldn't help but think about some of those things that I've been led to kind of sort of want to do, ideas that have floated through as to, like I said, my main thing that and again, this is the thing that leaves you open to great ridicule because I've actually had one of the super toxic people that I had around my life during the course of me starting to make some shifts and changes before I broke away from them actually used to scorn me with, well, where's your manifestation? I don't see you with $1 million yet. Where's your this? Where's your that? And I'm thinking, Don't worry about it. I understand now that as long as I had them kind of people around me, I won't ever gonna be able to manifest it then. However, in spite of those kind of people bumping into, the vision that I've been shown, my twin has been shown, is being of beautiful assistance to many, many people to help them fulfill their dreams, help strengthen them, bring help relationships be able to heal, help those that are, it's a lot of different things. But we set those intentions and did the spiritual work around trying to maintain that vision in the face of all the other stuff we was having to heal from. It's not easy and it takes a long time. We've been on a 9-year cycle, and I think, is it cancer? I think has a 9-year, but I get and understand the reason for the length of it, but it's coming out of this now. Now, the invocation for this: through unconditional love, I am empowered to live my divine destiny. I trust in my gifts and talents. I know that all I need for divine success shall be provided for me. I now choose of my own free will to release any blocks, consciously or unconsciously held, around trusting the earth to provide me with all that is needed to fulfill my divine life purpose. I am so grateful to receive all that I need and more. I feel much joy within me about my life, what I'm capable of, what I have attained so far, and how much I can offer to the earth. I live from my heart with absolute trust. May all beings know their genuine worth and have confidence to express their grace. Through my own free will, so be it. And y'all, one of the things before I read the invocation, the reason I had stopped initially to talk, it wasn't even to talk about somebody scorning what you brought in materially. It was about coming to understand that when you're learning to move and manifest like this, it may not always be intangible dollars and cents that depend on the inner workings of other people. Those cooperative elements will eventually line up, but learn to see your manifestations in other ways. Now, when you talk about working with Gaia and the appreciation, I was brought back to remember even before the unfoldings of 2020, in 2017, 18, before the slats fell out from under. In fact, it was in 2018, as the tower fell, that put me on this path. I was trapped in a scenario with one of my exes, as that was part of the day. All of that scenario was carefully scripted by him, karma, fate, whatever. But as that tower fell, I was put in a position. There was a major hurricane that came through Florida. I don't remember the names of those storms now at the time, and I'm not going to stop this to read it because I'm just being called to speak on it. And it's going to sound a little off, and I get it, because people that aren't ready to hear these things can do what they want. But I was forced to, because of our circumstances and finances and me being in that scenario with that person, my daughter and I were forced to ride out a Category 4 storm, or they thought it was getting ready to get up to 5. It was 3 for consistently, and I think it did get to 4 a little bit down in Florida. And I reached a point where, I ain't gonna lie, it was a little scary. We were in a townhouse. The wind was whipping through so hard that they weren't those new double insulated windows. They were the old fashioned kind of windows. You could hear the wind like soughing through, and it sounded like that roof was gonna be pulled off of there. And I went into meditation and communicated with the storm. And I used to hesitate to say that to people, but I know for a fact I communicated with the storm, because, like I said, it was coming up. That was the one that tore Puerto Rico up so bad back then. Yeah, it ripped Puerto Rico to shreds. And I didn't even think to do it at the time. But after that, when I heard about how bad it was hitting Puerto Rico, and I'm sitting there and going into this space, and I was off and on for the better part of almost 3 days. I sat in this position of like working with the Abraham Collective and meditation, and just basically keeping fear from keeping myself from allowing anxiety and fear to get to me. I'm like, look, we gonna have to ride out the storm. We were on our way out of town. My ex got a call from his job. He worked at a hospital that said, you are on the A team, and if you're not in this hospital for work within the next da 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 da, you don't have a job. And we only had one vehicle at the time. He chose to go to work. And me and his daughter had to ride out the storm. He had the security of that hospital there. He, like I said, you ain't gotta worry about being in a hurricane in a hospital. But we had to do it in the apartment. So I had no choice but to go into this place that was going to try to alleviate this fear. But in doing so, I reached a meditative space. I started hearing from some of those who had transitioned in the storm. And they said, talk to her. Ask the question and ask it in the right way. Now, that sounds crazy to some people, but this is what I heard. And I did that. Instead of praying like I had been taught to pray and all of that, that's all well and good. And I ain't knocking that. I did a little of that too. But I talked to the storm because I did understand like different energies, entities, other energetic, other dimensional beings that are responsible for what we see here in the 3D reality. Religion tells us not to give credence to that. I know better than that. There's a whole lot of stuff that keeps all of this plate spinning on this planet. And the energies that are behind the allowance or the occurrence of what have you of storms here do have a certain amount of sentience. And I genuinely asked that storm to please consider the fact that these people were not ready for this. I get it that they do need to express that energy. Mankind stirs up so much hateful energy on this planet. It's a wonder we don't have a cataclysm every other day. The energy that we stir up in our angst has to go and be released somewhere. Energy is never destroyed. It's only transferred or transmuted, period. So all of the hateful kick and the wars and the strife and the greed and the mistreating each other that we do by choice on this planet does help feed into the energies that feed the rages of the storms. Just does. And then man is even messing around with stuff to artificially seed storms and stuff. That's a whole nother issue. But in that particular instance, I asked to speak to the storm. And do you know what? The storm that all the meteorologists on TV were predicting was going to rip through Sarasota at a category 5. Literally, it churned and burned a little bit out there at a 4. Then it mysteriously kind of skidded down to like a 1 or 2. It dropped back up to a 3. It did come through Sarasota at around a 3, but Floridians ain't even scared of a 3. Our job be trying to make us come to work when it's still a 2. So it was a little scary. But the thing that I noticed when I really started talking to the storm, and if you recall, for those that follow stuff like that, the one tore up Puerto Rico so bad, then another one was spawning off the coast of Mexico, and 2 more were coming up behind them out in the Atlantic. So there was like a convergence of all these storms that were starting to come in. And I genuinely asked them to take that somewhere else just to consider humanity. I respected and appreciated her beauty, but asked if she would please go play somewhere else because mankind was not ready for that. It would be far too much loss of life. We really did not need another situation like what happened with Miss Katrina, all of that. And within less than 6 or 8 hours, it had started sputtering down. None of the meteorologists predicted that. And in less than 24 hours, all four of those storms had basically shut down to tropical storm or less, or veered off into basically open water where it would be no harm to anyone. You can work with Gaia. I didn't say that just to sound crazy. I'm trying to tell you, you get those confirmations in a lot of other ways. I've had incidences with water since then that have proven to me, working with some deities. In 2020, for 3 days in a row, every time, no matter what time of day I went outside to meditate, it would start raining. So much so that one of those instances, it was raining on the front side of the house, but not the back side. Lightning come by right outside the tree outside my window with no thunder. Things like that. When you start paying attention, you can work with these elements, people. It's part of your path, and Spirit is inviting you to do it. I ain't saying you got to run out and tell everybody that, because everybody ain't ready to hear it. I get it. But we can have those conversations on this channel. This is a safe space, because I do understand that there's way more here than what we understand. Now, the time has come for romance. You're doing a lot spiritually, yeah. But a large part of that was what you're manifesting romantically as well. And you can see it as an opportunity for a radiant life. In the number 4 position, though, of this spread, card 4, this is where you'll find your greatest inner wisdom. Interpret this card very positively. It forms part of the resolution for card 2 and will lead to the fulfillment of card 1. Card 4 is a mystery within the cross of insight. Try to attune to it and feel it. It is your divine wisdom and will help you to complete the path to your potential. Study, have faith, find the lesson, break free. You were here to love. You are love. It's safe to love. You got to trust that you've been being led to a divine love from your ancestors. Yes, you were in this hermit mode and it served you well. But the time has come for romance. 22. Didn't think it was ever going to come, did you? You're not going to be a cat lady or man. I promise. Well, I like cats. Ain't nothing wrong with them too. But there's some other stuff coming for you. Yeah, you're coming out of the cave. Spirit is literally kicking you out of the cave. Your eviction notice from the cave is here. Hermit mode is over. Sorry. Not sorry, because like I said, it served its purpose and you did good work. But you didn't do all that work just for you. It's time to serve, boo. You was being suited and booted to be a soldier in God's army, yes. But that come with a counterpart. Y'all are each other's battery pack. The ancestors said you suited and booted as a soldier in God's army, a real alchemical union soldier in God's army. What do you see when you look at the card? Do you see purity and innocence? Do you hear the soft, almost imperceptible whisper of the wind, or the gentle rustle of a dress as its hem glides over the ground? Can you smell the scent of the lush rose blossom? Do you hear the sweet bird song and see the golden light of the sun as it descends in the sky, at once saluting the day and bidding farewell to daylight? It's been far too long since you gave yourself to the romance of life. Your mind, your sensible side, is always fighting against it. Listen to your soul, which is letting you know that it's time to surrender. Become the queen of the roses, the king of the ivy, the colors of the rainbow. Clothe yourself in the light of the stars. To keep following the path of your soul, you must allow romance a firm place in your life. It will make you pause for a moment and show you the world through the eyes of a lover. Only then will you recognize its true colors and radiance. Only then will you be attractive to all that you want to attract. Then your innermost magic will unfold silently, like the scent of a rose that is both entrancing and healing. Make a conscious decision and act upon it. Day by day, you will see how your life becomes richer, more radiant, and easier. Wow. Power animal is a hummingbird. Healing crystals of rose quartz, and the master number is 22. You know, a hummingbird like hovered out around my face last year. I was sitting out on the patio and stood out there and had a little moment with me for almost a minute. Like literally just hummingbird just pulled up eye level and sat there like, you see me? I want you to see me, and I want you to see me seeing you see me. I'm like, okay, you know. But yeah, you have to stop and realize. I was listening to something a week or so ago, and she was laughing. But it was talking about the divine counterpart coming in, and she saw that he was younger and that he might not be quite as spiritually advanced, if you will, at the time, but that he was rapidly expanding and all this other good stuff. And I knew every bit of that. But she was laughing, was like, you groomed him. And truthfully, in the context of what people talk about grooming, it's not funny because, believe me, when I first started talking to this man, I had people laugh at me and want to call me a cougar and all the rest of that stuff. And to which I had to laugh and say, I learned to just be flip about it. Well, if I'm a cougar, he's my cub, and watch, I'm gonna take real good care of him, and y'all gonna see what a lion he turned to be. Period. You know, I just refuse to allow that. But they came at me like that. But truthfully, in our separate hermit modes, in our staying apartness, as spirit kept us apart, as we healed individually and started growing and all of that, we did groom each other. We didn't mean to. That wasn't our intention. But we taught each other how to see ourselves the way the other person saw us and to want to aspire to be that. Period. He tells me all the time how much he appreciates me for the respect that I have for him and the fact that I could see more for him. The man is model gorgeous, y'all, with a six-pack and all, well into his 30s now. Still got that, all of that. Now, he shaved his locks off for spiritual reasons, but yeah, he had the long locks and everything, like head turning gorgeous, to the point that I couldn't believe he was actually interested in me, because where my self-esteem issues had come from and ascended to, I didn't understand that at the time. But with the society that he grew up in, because of some of the karmic lessons that he had been through, most women in his area would ignore him. He don't have the right kind of money. He's a single father. He ain't got a big whatever car and the latest, greatest Mackin whatever phone, and he doesn't have the monetary trappings that they want. So a lot of women overlook that diamond laying right there in the streets of Ghana because they needed it to look a certain way. Whereas I understood something different, and I really wasn't ever hanging my hat on the monetary, because I figured, and again, I ain't talking about entertaining a scrub hollering about they got potential when they 52 years old still living in their mama basement. I'm not talking about that. And again, I can't even be that hypocrite, because if it wasn't for my friends and family, I'd be homeless. But as a divine feminine, I'm not telling you to hang your energy on a dude that want to run behind the excuse of potential. I am not telling you that. I'm talking about when spirit is bringing you a divine partner, understand that you're both coming into this from a place of healing. So those fantasies that those girls out there in social media pump into their heads, that they think that because they're Judy with a big booty and they go and get a BBL and they got a this and they got a that and all of that stuff that they do is going to make some guy come and play that princess fairy tale role with them. To all of them chicks, I would tell them they would be far better off to allow themselves to go within, close their legs, do the spiritual work, and allow spirit to bring you a for real counterpart, because with men being the people that they are, if you become his biggest fan and he's your biggest fan, y'all gonna glow each other up so much that if money is what you want, damn it, he's going to go get you some money. Because that's the way men are. If you believe he got potential and you be his biggest cheerleader and cheer his potential on, he's going to rise to that occasion. He will live to that potential, people. You'll get that far faster being willing to wait for it than you waiting for somebody to come out of their penthouse up on Wall Street and sweep you out off your feet when you know, quite honestly making $25,000 a year working at Target. Sorry. The likelihood of stepping into a fantasy life waiting for somebody to deliver that to you, not likely to happen. The likelihood of spiritually ascending and being able to get it out the mud together as a divine counterpart in an alchemical union, ding, 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 real high. Even if it take you 4, 5, in our case 10 years to energetically rise to do that. How long do it take people to build empires out there in that world? This is spiritual empire building from the ground up, bricks in. So that you're putting your foundation on like say on solid foundation, instead of building on straw like the world does when they out there shopping for their mate at the club or on some Tinder, Bumble, POF, whatever it is. And again, not trying to cast aspersion to any of those branded things. They're making their money, do you boo. But everything here is programming. And if you choose to buy into that programming, be prepared to get the pain cycles that it got. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. No, thank you. I didn't want that no more. So unplug from it, took this time out. And in that time out was also brought somebody that took a time out, and we were put into a long distance time out love. But now with this timing, it's time to come in. Time for romance, allowing that in. Did I finish? Yeah, I did. I'll read all that. And with the Hermit and the alchemical mutation. Oh, and I just dropped something. Sorry. Introspection, contemplation, soul searching. It's interesting because the Hermit in reverse is about reclusive, detached, lonesome. But it's still not being lonely. Please understand. Well, maybe at first when people go into hermit mode, for me it wasn't. That's the part of the problem. I've come to enjoy the solitude because I can spend time with my guides and study with the cards, with you all. I'm not the least bit lonely. I know I'm being called to more, but I'm not lonely at all. I haven't watched mainstream TV in a long time, and even with YouTube, I was finding myself falling too much into some of the secular stuff, even with the tarot readings. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't need confirmation anymore. I'm a tarot reader myself, but I was using it as an entertainment, just kind of mind out, zone out, and I enjoy hearing other readers, especially I've been led to some super, super gifted readers, channelers. Them sisters and brothers be on it. So it's entertaining for me. But there comes a point in time where it's time to get down to the nitty gritty and do that. There's a point of introspection. You got to do the work. Am I ready to honor what I truly feel? Is the point of introspection. With this time for romance has come. I reevaluate and step away from that which is no longer for my highest good. I consciously cultivate a new pathway. The illumination of one's true desires, the soul searching and contemplation of one's life, the reconnection to higher spiritual realms, the enhancement of one's understanding of the universe, and then this alchemical union. What? And I got some kind of something hurting right there. And y'all, we about to get done. Again, I'm gonna enjoy watching it though. So for those who clicked off earlier, sorry. They gonna miss a good one, because this, truthfully, I know for a fact this ain't just me. It's too many twins coming into union for this to just be me. But if somebody can learn something from the transparency of the stuff that I went through, it can just be me. If you can get some kind of benefit from it, and from these cards, the readings in these books alone, I know there's something in it for you. Yeah. Alchemical mutation. Let me cover her up. Your spiritual growth is changing your mind, body, and soul. It is very real. It is helping you fulfill all aspects of your divine destiny. It is awakening spiritual talents and attracting in new energies. This process will bring tremendous joy and satisfaction. The body changes as light enters. Alchemy is catalyzed and transformation happens. Sometimes the appearance of the body changes. There will be change in how the body feels, reacts, responds, acts, and creates. Radiance increases. Lightness of being increases. If you have clairvoyant vision, you will see the increase in light as though the person is actually lit up from within, because they are. Spiritual abilities become grounded in the body, and the person that can channel healing energy just as naturally as they would set the dinner table. The spirit becomes a living reality in the body, and the material world is experienced as an extension of the divine light. This alchemy is an empowering gift of love. Symptoms of this process can at times be challenging. They may include headaches and other aches and pains, flu-like symptoms, and inexplicable and nearly overwhelming fatigue that lasts for days and then suddenly vanishes along with a surge of new energy. We may also experience pinging in the ears, increased sensitivity to light or sound, hormonal imbalance and hot flushes, excessive sexual energy, mental obsessions or mood swings, aggression, and unintentional harsh reactions to people. If you've been experiencing any of the above and wondered if these are unusual or other unusual symptoms could be a direct result of increased spiritual energy affecting the body, then the answer is that this is very likely. You are encouraged to source whatever professional health support you need to take care of your body. Also, consider the following simple practices to ease away the side effects of divine alchemy taking place in you. These simple practices include getting regular rest. Additional sleep is a powerful way for the body and mind to heal and repair, integrate, and reorganize. Allow time for physical exercise, which can help release excess energy, especially if you tend to feel mentally congested. Take some time away from meditation, spiritual studies, or discussions in energy work. Instead, simply be in nature or rest. If you work with colors, then take a break for a short time, only working with very soft, subdued white or colorless light. If you have a tendency to push yourself with spiritual work, learning to take time off on regular occasions will help you recover more quickly and suffer less. Finally, working with cooling energy, not cold but refreshing, as a way to discharge excess heat can be extremely beneficial to body and mind. The invocation is: I call upon the beings that love me unconditionally and ask for divine grace, protection, information, assistance, intervention, and healing in all ways now as I change alchemically. May my body and mind be supported and recover with divine assistance. I celebrate the alchemy that the light creates, and with kindness I allow for it to unfold in my body, mind, and soul according to the guiding hand of divine love. May all those on the path of love and light be assisted to walk their path with as much joy and as little suffering as possible. Through my own free will and divine grace, so be it. And oh man, yeah. I mean, we hear people talk about ascension symptoms, and I just finished before this thing was talking about I'm having some kind of little odd pinging pain through this hand. But this morning I was sitting out in a meditation, and it felt like I received stigmata almost. I was bracing myself for it to hurt, to heat it up. I feel energy in my hands and feet often, but in this particular episode, I was out there like listening to the Devi prayer and kind of getting in this moment of, it was a moment with Yeshua and a lot of the divine mothers, but the centers of both of my palms became so energetically charged that they started to begin to feel heat, and I was expecting them to get even hotter. Like I said, in the movies they show stigmata is actually leaving burn marks in people's hands, and I know it don't have to be that. If you try to receive this energy before you're balanced and of an energetic bandwidth to receive it, then it can blow out some chakras and leave maybe spontaneous combustion burns. I'm guessing that may be what happens for people that receive stigmata. But in this instance, Spirit was like, like I said, I didn't know any better, so I thought that that's just the way it have to be, and I was bracing myself for that heat to just keep getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and it began to get cooler and cooler, and then it started feeling almost like there were open energy rings in the center of my hands. It felt like if I had looked at my hands, I'd be able to see a hole about the size of a silver dollar through each of my palms, and it didn't hurt. It was just energy. But yeah, you receive that kind of downloads. I told y'all, I think a few weeks ago, it's not doing it now. There was a point that I had become sensitive to something going on in the Wi-Fi or whatever the bandwidths of energy were, that when I had my head at a certain height at the table and move it down to another, the tone was shifting. I'm hearing all of this stuff. Sometimes I have to literally start unplugging electronics in my house, because even in their unplugged state, I can hear it. It's frequency. But understand that those things mean something, and get the rest when you need it. Take those spiritual baths, and please, 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 I done said it before, I'm never going to stop saying it. Get out there and put your bare feet on Mama Gaia. It's good for her and it's good for you. It discharges some of that stuff so you can be a clearer conduit. The more you can dispel those other energies, the more you can start also detoxing the things you need to detox to become an even clearer channel and bring this stuff in. And your partner's probably doing the same to some degree. Now this last position, and I know. The last position of the spread, card 5, the power of destruction, which has the potential to be released. This card must be interpreted in a negative manner, as it is showing an issue that is blocked and is draining the energy from the potential of card 1. Whatever this card is telling you must be resolved and released immediately in order to allow the potential shown by card 1 to be able to thrive. Do not hesitate or delay. It's too important. It concerns your life path. You are unique. Be brave, a little crazy, but be yourself. So, yeah, Spirit is saying having the courage to be free and basically having the courage to be yourself is the same, but in doing that, you did this whole spiritual work. Romance is coming in with it. They go together like peanut butter and jelly, and it's gonna be fine. You're on the path. The ancestors got your back. Spirit got your back. Your lover got your back. The angels got your back. You've been doing the spiritual work. All you have left to do is believe it enough to break free. You are unique. Be brave, a little crazy, but be yourself. And I'm sorry if I'm getting sound issues. I didn't realize the mic had kind of crept up because of the neckline of this shirt. Okay. It is often the very people who recognize their own uniqueness who feel lonely or like outsiders. Having recognized the otherness and wanting to live according to it, they make the mistakes of thinking that other people will not understand or want anything to do with them. However, this is an illusion born of past experience with its roots in childhood or perhaps even much earlier. These experiences have served to strengthen you, helping you to recognize your uniqueness and to live it to the full. You have now reached the point on your soul path where you will find the strength within you to banish these illusions and find the truth that lies behind them. It is the people who remain true to their nature who change this world, making it a more joyful, peaceful, and colorful place. Celebrate yourself and your individuality and give it more space in your life. Be crazy, be brave, be yourself, and live your difference. Your uniqueness will give you a gentle dignity and irresistible charisma. If you are ready to accept yourself just as you are, you will discover wholeness, a sense of fulfillment. Accept that you are unique, acknowledge your otherness or difference, and in so doing, become fulfilled and free. Give yourself space and allow yourself to let go of anything that no longer serves you. Everything in your past has matured into wisdom, allowing you to live according to your creative nature. Be the embodiment of joy, be magnificent and free, and exclude everything and everyone standing in your way. Do it now and without delay. The power animal is the phoenix. The herbal essential oil is patchouli. The healing crystal is peridot. And the number is 7. And interesting, like I said, my partner is a 3. I mean, I'm a life path 3. He's a life path 4. So this final card and this uniqueness coming together. 7, yeah. And you know, that I think that was the reason why I stopped apologizing when these readings get longer. There will be some that will be designed to get the message but still court the YouTube algorithm. I have no problem doing that. I do want to grow big enough to be monetized, not just to be monetized, but to get the message in front of other people. But right now, while our collective is small, I'm more concerned with the message reaching who it needs to reach. The numbers will come. So I just really had to get myself in a headspace to stop apologizing for allowing Spirit to move through me and speak to me when the message gets longer than what I intended for it to be, in courting the algorithm or courting people that are too impatient to sit through the longer readings. And I get it, because I used to be that way. I would look at a reading, and if it was too long, I just wouldn't even bother clicking on it. However, there also, when I really started tapping into my intuition, there would be some readings that I find myself on that I understood they were longer than what I was used to, but I was supposed to take the time to sit and listen to it, and I did. And I'm thankful to those sisters and brothers for taking the time to bring those messages. So, like I said, for whomever this was for, I wanted to make sure you got all the spiritual tea, because the messages from these books were incredible. It felt like Spirit just wrapping me in an additional hug. So I wanted to share that with you as well. And yeah, this uniqueness, that is awesome. I think I did read all of that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I read all of that. Now, the Alchemist. This is a major arcana, but in the Age of Aquarius deck, well, this is actually considered a universal arcana. They have the traditional major arcana. I think there are also 10 or 11 additional universal arcana, and one of them came out in this, and I thought that was kind of interesting. So we're going to definitely read that. I was hoping, well, the Golden Eye of Fate didn't come out either, but that's kind of an anything card. It's just such a beautiful, unusual card. I love it when it comes out. But the Alchemist, ooh, Moldavite is one of the stones, and Sodalite, Emerald. The timing is winter or years. It represents divine transformation, being a visionary, the transmutation of energy. There is no reversal for this card, and the mantra is I transfigure. Excuse me. The introspection, am I ready to implement the wisdom and skills I have acquired through my life and cultivate a new path for myself? The evocation is I have the skills, wisdom, and knowledge to divinely transform my life. The light attribute, breaking away from illusionary systems of control. moving toward that which is divinely calling you, taking chances and blazing new trails. The shadow aspect, the fear of embracing one's true power, making moves that only yield short-term gratification, manipulation of the environment to achieve one's goals at the cost of others. And that's the thing. Everything you do when you want to start manifesting, especially if you're trying to manifest money or material things, make sure they're for your highest good and the highest good of all. If you manifest from a selfish place, you ain't going to like what you manifest. And good. Because you shouldn't be manifesting anything that's going to be at somebody else's detriment. Ever. Master Healing, card 33. But yeah, you're being called into whoever you are, whatever your gifts open up with. You might actually wind up with real X-Men type powers. Use it the right way. You've been given it for a sacred reason. Understand that. Don't ever flex. You sat in this imposter syndrome long enough. We ain't saying you got to sit there and continue to do that. Yes, you're spiritually a beast. You've been doing the work. You're being stepped into something. You do have to respect the work you've done and have enough courage to acknowledge that work and be free and express your unique self. But only ever use your superpowers for good. Yeah. And I don't even know who I needed to say that for, because I know it ain't me. But then again, is it? Especially if you're at a point where you wanted to learn how to manifest something from nothing and you were shown like a major windfall coming somewhere down the line. When that comes, and again, I had no intention of even talking about that in public, so I think this is for somebody out here that's going to be watching this. But when that windfall comes, don't let it make you brand new. Remember, you're only receiving it because you were shown to be a worthy steward of that which Spirit left with you to entrust. You answered the call and told Spirit that you would go through this period of learning and learning empathy and compassion through these hard lessons in life and having faith. And through this spiritual evolution, you get to a point that now you can be entrusted to receive that which your heart desired and you asked for, but it's for the purpose of being a worthy steward of it, so that you're not just getting it to become one of the people that you used to be upset about, because those are the type of people that ultimately hurt you in the beginning. You don't want to be a hurt people that hurt people. You want to learn how to be a hurt people that healed and learn to bless the world and other people too, by sharing your blessings, not casting pearls before swine, but being a genuine healer, teacher, this alchemist, to bring on, like I said, you may have needed healing. Your body, spirit, mind, all of that may be broken, but in this mutation, as you grow up and level up and start mutating spiritually, all of that stuff, none of that's done just for you, boo. Again, these are the modifications and adjustment the Spirit has deemed that you need necessary to walk the rest of this walk. You're not just getting all of that to sit back and eat bonbons for the rest of your life. You may have been in hermit mode doing that for a while, but again, they're kicking you out of the cave. This is your eviction notice. You're being called into holy love and union for a reason, to be your crazy, unique self. Why? Because you're an alchemist, a visionary, master healing. This right here. And I believe this applies to you and your divine counterpart, whether you understand them to be a healer yet or not. Look, especially if you're in divine feminine, they're quick to acknowledge that usually it's the female that starts awakening first and maybe further along the spiritual path. And then we see a lot of these really imbalanced masculine spiritual woke folk out there that get real braggadocious and get caught up in guru type energy. So we get a negative image of male spirituality to a degree. We can sometimes. But what you don't realize is while you was leveling up, so was your divine counterpart. Just because you don't know how far along the line they are spiritually, they may not even know. Wait till their powers come online. Wait till y'all get together and see what happened. I'm telling you, it's going to be like waking a spiritual giant. Y'all going to be like some X-Men up in here. And you're to use that for good. Spirit is going to line up for you why you were outfitted with those knowledge and gifts and information and people and powers and what things that you can do. It'll be given to you. 33. Excuse me. Sorry, y'all. For that. In fact, let me grab a sip of water. So, master healing. As you meditate, remain true to what inspires your heart and commit to your spiritual path. You become an increasingly powerful healer. You are here to live your own life, to be true to what genuinely moves you. The unconditionally loving and ascended Master Serapis Bey, the unconditionally loving guide and ascended Master Serapis Bey comes to you now with a blessing of master healing to further your success on your path. The Master Serapis Bey is a beloved guide for those who feel a strong soul connection to ancient Egypt, for healers who are developing their own modalities, and for those who love to work with high-frequency concepts. He also assists with the translation of spiritual inspiration into practical worldly plans. He comes to confirm that the Ascended Masters are aware of you. You are an integral part of a powerful spiritual team that has taken physical incarnation to help awaken consciousness into love. You are asked to tune into your heart. What do you love enough to overcome any obstacle to attain it? What motivates and inspires you? Not what seems possible or practical, but what is authentic. We are most powerful when we serve authentically from the heart. A bird might learn how to dive underwater from time to time, but it is never going to be at its most powerful if it has to live underwater. It would struggle to thrive if it were to force itself into such unnatural expressions of its life energy. The bird yearns to fly because that is the divine nature. That is its divine nature and purpose. You too have divine nature and purpose, and your heart holds the clue. What feels most like you? It is difficult to access the truth of our own nature when we believe we would live up to when we believe we should live up to the expectation of others. I'm going to say that one more time. It is difficult to access the truth of our own nature when we believe we should live up to the expectation of others. If we are attached to an outcome or afraid of an answer, we can unintentionally block our perceptive faculties, a spiritual version of sticking our fingers in our ears and shouting blah, blah, blah. The blessing of Serapis Bey includes his clear flame of divine cleansing light. This can assist us in letting go of whatever blocks us from knowing the truth of our nature. When we are willing to be who we are, the universe can more easily guide us to fulfill our desires. Serapis Bey will help you see yourself truthfully. You may gain feedback from others that helps you understand the value of what you share, or you may simply find it easier to view yourself objectively with a compassionate, appreciative, and discerning inner eye. As you learn and accept who you are, you become a more powerful vibration for masters to put to use in the plan of love. If you have a dream in your heart, know that it has been placed there for divine purpose. What you dream and desire contains the seed of divinity. It is meant to help attract your life mission and fulfill it with joy, love, creativity, and pleasure. If we're willing to go through what is necessary for an outcome, it will happen for us. The details may appear different from what we imagine they would, but the truth remains. If you ask for something and are willing to go through the process required to have that come to life, it will happen for you. The universe is that generous, unconditionally supporting and loving of you. It is your creative partner. It will provide you with all that you need to manifest your dreams, desires, and destiny. The invocation. I call upon loving Master Serapis Bey and by his master healing through the clear flame of truth and grace. I ask now in the perfect time and the perfect way, according to divine wisdom, the truth in all matters of importance to me in my divine life journey now, including, and then whatever questions you want to ask in particular. I ask to be lovingly shown my true nature, my deepest desires and most inspired dreams. Please help me know myself so that I know how to best live my divine destiny. May all beings on the path of self-knowledge be assisted and supported with unconditional love. Through my own free will and divine grace, so be it. Wow. And honestly, I was going to read these as well. I did pull them. They were beautiful. I'm not going to read the entire message for all. You know what, though? I feel like I'm shortchanging you if I do that. So, yeah, because, yeah, I can't do that, family. I cannot shortchange you that way. I am going to pull for you all as well, but I'm not going to shortchange this message. Nope, nope, nope. I am going to come up out this sweater, though, because it's getting hot in her. I'm not hot, but I'm getting warm. Okay. The first message from Archangel Metatron, communication, speak up and be heard. You are asked, it says card number 5 links to the planet Mercury, which rules communication and mental powers. You're asked to let out all that you have bottled up inside of you for so long, all that you have bottled up inside of you for so long, waiting for the right conditions and the right time to be heard. That's why it needed to be read. Yeah. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm going to start over. Archangel Metatron says, you are asked to let out all that you have bottled up inside of you for so long, waiting for the right conditions and the right time to be heard. You are asked to dig deep, shatter the walls of glass you have placed around yourself, and say all that is needed to clear the air and voice your truth. So often we're afraid to voice what feels unspeakable, our own true desires, wishes, opinions, and feelings, and yet by doing this, we hide the truth of who and what we are. Oh my goodness, I didn't even think about this the first time, but I know I'm being called to speak my truth. And I did realize, like, I was feeling some type of way because I know most people don't watch tarot to hear the reader's story, and a lot of readers don't even want to share anything personal about themselves. I'm being called to tell my story, and as a tarot reader, how could I not tell tarot stories too? Because the cards show me my journey all the time. So why wouldn't I share that with you all? If I can read your business, why can't I make you privy to some of mine? But because of the programming of listening to how, other readers didn't want to talk too much about themselves, and they don't want to do this, and the YouTube algorithm says that the video should be so long and you should post so many per day and all that other good stuff. Not to mention a fair dose of worrying about some of the karmic folks that I had to cut out of my life and whatever, knowing that they still may watch some of my stuff down the line. Will they be mad or feel some type of way about what I got to say? Because some of them people, I say the karmic people, but I love them. Some of those people are like family to me. They walked away, and I'm glad to let them stay away. But I also have to remember I'm being called to speak, irrespective or irregardless, or regardless or irrespective of how some of those people felt about it. Because some of them did play some real uncomfortable negative roles in my life and the things that happen, and they're highly embarrassed and will be angry if anybody were to allude to them, which, like I said, I'll never name names on here. So if they feel some type of way and identify themselves negatively in my stories, they just need to heal and learn and ascend from them too. I did. But that don't mean I'm going to discount it, because the telling of the story and how you overcame it is how you help somebody else either avoid it or overcome it if they're in the thick of it. And Spirit says, all of that hard-earned wisdom, them stripes that I earned ain't for nothing. It's time to communicate. And it's time for you to communicate too. Yeah. I'm trying to see here. It also talks about using your voice in other spiritual ways, chanting, toning, singing. Yeah. Your voice is needed. It's time to hear. The time to hear it is now. Let it be a force for good in this world. Your voice is unique and belongs to you. Let others hear its beauty, conviction, and strength. And then card 40 was about evolution, birthing the new. Drawing this card shows that you're on the brink of radical rebirth or facing the birth of something new in your life. With regard to rebirth, many events and circumstances make it possible, starting with college, getting married, changing career, or becoming a parent, or the redefinition of self that happens after surviving trauma, bereavement, illness, or divorce. So many life stages make rebirth possible, including age-related chapters as well: puberty, menopause, and third age. Life itself starts with birth, ends with death, and includes many rebirths along the way, for truly nothing ever stays the same, and you are encouraged to celebrate the birth of each new chapter. It may also be that a literal birth of a new child is on the way, or this rebirth may be linked to anything else that has been hoped for or nurtured and is being sent by Spirit with love to you now. In the case of a child, it implies that a special soul may enter your family, one who is spiritually awake and of high vibration and exceptional light. They are born with lifetimes of experience and wisdom to help our world as we transition up through dimensional frequencies now. Know, too, that the one whom the child is born to has been chosen to nurture and sustain them. This applies as well to whoever raises them, educates them, and influences them in childhood. Maybe you are to be touched by such a child's presence in your life some way. They represent a new breed of human who is perfectly balanced between divine male and divine female, one who holds light and wisdom and love, who will not be tainted or diminished by surrounding darkness, and who will replace fear with hope, hatred and compassion, selfishness with sensitivity, and self-centeredness with unity. This card also reminds you of your own perfection. Each soul born in the Creator's image is equal and cherished in the eyes of God. You were born pure and whole, and your soul retains this quality all through existence and all realities. I'm not going to read the rest of this, but yeah. It said higher consciousness is here, aided by huge waves of souls coming in that influence all living on our planet. Evolution is happening at hurtling speed, and Archangel Metatron is here to support, steer, and birth you anew whenever you ask. Evolve. Welcome in new birth. It is time. You have the ability to reach a stage of enlightenment in this lifetime like never before, to embrace the masculine and feminine and create a new paradigm, not just for yourself, but for your children and grandchildren to inherit. Yeah. And for those who are dreaming about spirit babies, hearing about spirit babies, think that there may be a baby coming, even if it looks and sounds crazy and you don't even want to tell nobody, or you tongue-in-cheek, low-key laugh and joke about how you done with kids, you don't want no more kids, and all of that good stuff. Because I said that too. I have 4 adult children. I had no plans of having any more children. I had my tubes cut, tied, and burned at the birth of my last child. And yet, in 2019, I started getting a message. Well, let's not lie. In 2008, I received a message that I was going to be blessed with another child. Now, I chose to misunderstand that at the time. Because, again, I was 39 years old, I think, or 40, something like that. And now my mother had me at 40, her mother had her at 40, and I so wanted that tradition to stop that I had my tubes tied when I had my last child. I knew I didn't want to do that. Keep doing those cycles with men who acted and pretended like that they wanted to be team us long enough to get my guard down, and I agreed to have this child. And yeah, it was a hot mess. Cycles. That was a serial monogamist, but with energetically not what I should have been with. I get that part. But in the doing of all of that, Spirit is now saying you get to rebuild. You're communicating, you're birthing something new, you're bringing it into existence. It's time to speak about that too. There's a lot of people that talk about their past traumas, but what's coming in. And I didn't want to talk about it beforehand because, like I said, if you can't reach out and touch it, nobody wants to believe it. People scorn you over that. They honestly don't believe it's real. But when you see it, they see it happen, they'll understand. Now, and again, this went right back to some other stuff that I had issues with. And the reading comes back, but I wanted, since I pulled the Metatron card, I had to get some Christ consciousness card from messages from Yeshua, or again this whole idea of Christ consciousness period, because that's truthfully the whole point of the union of the twins and all the rest of that. Holy Grail, sacred union. To come into union with oneself is the greatest love and creates new worlds. It can manifest outwardly, including loving relationships that are pure, holy, and sacred. It always starts first as an inner journey and pilgrimage, and within the template of Jesus and Mary Magdalene, we have two energies to bring into our hearts, integrate, and learn from. So even if this isn't an actual person, this does have to happen within first. The twin flame journey is just a spiritual journey. It's a journey to finding oneself. The story of every man, all of those journeys, is the journey of the self. Mary, not the outcast, sinner, or fallen woman, but the one Christ loved most, the one whom he revealed himself to at the tomb, and the disciple who understood him the most. Within her he found a kindred soul, a confidant, and a beloved equal, not a relationship of imbalance, but one of alliance, shared understanding, commitment, and unswerving loyalty. In Jesus, Mary found a friend, an anointed love, a shared purpose, passion, kinship, and wisdom, her yin to his yang to her yin, together creating a portal, safe dwelling ground, and forward-flowing movement for generations to come. And for those who may not be aware, and they touched on it here, Mary Magdalene, years ago in religion and whatnot, they tried to paint her to be a fallen woman. That's because Yeshua and Mary Magdalene were both mystics. They were Essene mystics. Jesus was a Jew by birth, yes, born of Nazareth, in Nazareth. But by faith, he was an Essene mystic. And they used to discredit the female mystics during that time, the good church folk, the folk who wound up doing him in. They discredited female mystics during that time by calling them prostitutes and whores and all kinds of awful things that they attributed them for. But there is a lot of anecdotal and written evidence that they looked through the information and the traditions from the eastern parts of the world. Mary Magdalene was Christos as well. We're taught to worship Jesus Christ like that's a name. It's not. It's a title. There were many Christos on this planet. He was teaching people something different than what the religious leaders of the time came from, but he was not the only one. And then we have, let's see. Oh, it talks a lot about encouraging us to explore the energies of both Mary and Jesus. and the times that are recorded as well as the times that are not written, and to consider that they were, an alchemical couple. Well, the book doesn't say that, but we do have to realize that that's what you're looking at, is a union of alchemy there, a holy sacred union. Why you think he could walk on water? You see this Vesica Pisces between the two of them? Even the symbology of that acknowledges a tantric union. Oh, wait a minute. It says the Vesica Pisces symbolizes between them, illustrates the potential that exists when two fully formed whole energies intersect and create something new, unique, and unexplored. Such magic materializes out of space, time, and other dimensions. It is the birth that transcends and liberates all it touches. And truthfully, again, the Holy Grail is found when we feel worthy of drinking from it, where we stand in our God-given sovereignty, beauty, and light. Then we will have ceased looking for others to save or love us, and will realize that we have everything we need inside. This new understanding and incidence will then be mirrored back to us, a divine union, all that is holy, unleashed to create the new. So when you want to call in love, become love. Heal and do the work, and it's coming. Like iron filings to a magnet, you're drawn to each other. But what gets in the mind is mind trap, doubt, and it talks about Thomas. Thomas doubted so much whether Yeshua had actually come down off of that pole crucifixion, like they tell that tale, but that if it was really him or not, according to the scriptures, he asked to stick his hands in the holes of Yeshua's wounds, and he was granted the privilege of being able to do that. But he also got his act together later and followed Yeshua through all the way into like Persia, through the Silk Road and the ministry, even when it wasn't always the safest to do that, because they wound up leaving the area and going back across the Silk Road because the Jews and the Romans wanted to kill him. They really, really wanted to kill him for real. Now, they told the story that they killed him and he came back from the dead, and then he ascended to heaven because he got gone. And they built that story out over 200 years and said that to you. But let's see a little bit of what it talks about this mind trap, because there was something here that I got some benefit from too. Yeah. How many times have we blocked the miracle or unexpected piece of good news because we fail to believe it can possibly be true? And like they were talking about how he demanded proof from Jesus. Old scripts and inner programming that good things don't happen to me or I can't do it run rampant and squash the magnificence of creation that is found in you in every potential moment. We can be cynical or afraid of being let down, unused to receiving, or just blind to the wonders all around us. Too often we're driven not from our hearts but from the mind and ego, which want evidence before proceeding. Yet the miracle zone lies outside the confines of what is possible or even probable. And it goes back to what I was talking about receiving this kind of love that's coming in. You got to first off believe that it's possible, and believe and understand when Spirit does send it to you, and stop trying to send it away or trying to make it be all the stuff that didn't work before when you was manifesting from a broken place, because you ain't that no more. And what you bringing in ain't that. This is beautiful. And it is on the way. Get out your own way. Allow this thing to happen. Stay tuned in here on the channel. We're doing the work together. I'm going to clear these and charge my phone because I know this has gone well over where I had intended it to. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to pull another set of this spread, but not my cards this time, truly from the collective, and see where we go. I love you so much, family. Thank you for joining me here with this one. And until next time, peace and blessings to you. Namaste.